Okay, welcome back. This chapter is going to be on a little bit of introduction to Windows 7 and a little bit about the Microsoft Office suite. Now, I know that you may or may not be using Windows 7 at home, but that's okay. You'll still be able to follow along nevertheless. Okay, so at the beginning of this, we said that Microsoft Office is a suite of applications. So what the heck does that mean? Well, it means that there's one package comes with lots and lots of different software. And so we're going to go through each one of these things one thing at a time. Hang on a second, I got a cat here. Say hello to, this is Little Orphan Annie. Okay, good. And continuing. So, Microsoft Office is made up of lots of little pieces. So Microsoft Word, which is the word processing part. Where you want to type documents to grandma. Microsoft Excel is what they call a spreadsheet. We're gonna have an entire chapter on that. And this is basically where you do complex math. So if you're an accountant, those kind of things, ooh yeah, good stuff. PowerPoint is the presentation software. It's the thing for doing slideshows, for doing briefings and things of that nature. There are some corporate cultures that, having PowerPoint skills gets you hired, gets you promoted if you're a PowerPoint warrior, so to speak. Microsoft Access is a database, and databases are not necessarily, for holding little things. Typically they're big, lots and lots of data that you want to manipulate. Microsoft Outlook is their email client. It's actually not just email, but it also does calendar and task and reminders and all sorts of other things. Those are the major portions. There are others. OneNote is a kind of a cool feature for allowing you to, transcribe notes, things of that nature. There's lots of other things. Publisher is great. I use Publisher for making greeting cards, for example. If you want to put a flyer up, lost dog or something about yard sale, Microsoft Publisher would be a cool way of doing that. Microsoft Project is something that the business world uses. I've got a complex design project. I'm building a bridge and I want to figure out precisely what needs to be done where. Microsoft Project is a tool for that. Visio is a cool tool for diagramming complex things. We use that in software engineering and a few other things. And now there's lots and lots of more to it, but those are the major pieces. Okay, now I mentioned, of course, that you don't have to have the version 2010 in order to play. You can, and probably should, be used in the 2013 version. Now the 2013 version actually comes in two different flavors. They have the boxed set, which is the stuff you just buy. Comes with a disc, you pop it in your machine, you load, and you're done. Then there's a subscription service, and their subscription service is called Office 365. That's just the name of it. And it actually is a pretty doggone good deal if you have more than one machine. So for example, if you have kids in high school and you're trying to do stuff as well and you have more than one computer, the home version of Office is all users in one household, okay, and up to 5 devices that are shared among those people. So that means you could have an iPad or a tablet or a big machine, and you're covered with one copy. Now it's a subscription service, which means it's $100 a year. But you can do the math, and if you had 3 machines and 4 people in your household, and you wanted to legally have Microsoft Office on there, this is clearly a good deal. And it comes with practically everything. A lot of people get confused with Microsoft Office subscription because they think that we're talking about, oh, I have to use a browser or something to connect to the cloud. No. In addition to having a connection where you can edit Word documents while you're away, it also has the actual software that you download and install physically on your machine. The only exceptions are I mentioned like the Android and the iOS. So if you have an iPhone or an Android device, you don't actually get the stuff installed on that machine. You actually use the web-based interface to get there. Okay, so that's Office 365, the traditional Office product, and of course we're going to be talking about the 2010 version. Okay, so in the beginning, I assume that you guys know how to log on to a computer. I mean, that's a pretty basic thing. A lot of people have configured their machines so they don't require login, but when you go to the university, you know, you're going to have a box that puts your name in, you have a box for the domain, and you're going to have a button that basically says log in, and you're up and running. Okay, I don't think there's going to have anyone have a problem with that. So let's look at the way Office works, or actually this is how Windows 7 works. So this is my desktop. This is what it looks like, and I have a start button down here. It actually doesn't say start like it used to. When you hover over it, it says start. But anyway, some people call this the Pearl. I don't get it. But anyway, the little circle thing. Anyway, click on it and you get this cool looking start menu. Now, I will tell you, if you're running a later version, if you're not running Windows 7 and you're running Windows 8, this part is radically different. You click the start menu on Windows 8 and you get a completely different user effect here. But that's okay. The basics of it are all the same. So this basically shows all the things that I can do on my machine. I'm thinking, well, you got to be kidding. That's it? I mean, all I can do is Web Matrix, Notepad, Microsoft Word, and blah, 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 blah. Well, no. There's a thing down here for all programs. If I click on that, I get more of a list. Well, is that it? Well, no. You just keep clicking. Oh, there's Microsoft Office. Well, okay, there's Access and Excel and Info Path and all these other things. So the thing is, some things will appear here, some you have to go to here, some you have to keep going. So you just drill down, drill down, drill down until you get the thing that you want. Okay, so that's essentially how this thing works. I think everyone kind of knows how scroll bars work. If you click on something that won't physically fit, you get a cool little scroll bar. I'm just holding my mouse over the scroll bar itself and holding the button down and dragging up and down so I can see all the content there. Now, a lot of people, me in particular, try to make this list kind of organized. So I create folders, one called Applications, for example, one called Multimedia Things. So I kind of categorize things and put it in here, and Utilities, and I throw things in here. So I kind of organize this because I don't like a huge splat of choices there. So to me, it's perfectly okay to get 3 clicks before you get to what you want. That's okay. Now some people, oh my God, 3 clicks, I can't handle it, and they want everything just splatted out on their screen. So it's just personal preference. I like things to be organized, so I create folders in here. Okay, let's talk about just some basic thing. I'm going to click on the Windows Explorer. Now I said Windows Explorer, not Internet Explorer. That's a critical distinction because the Windows Explorer is exploring files on your machine and the Internet Explorer is for going out to the Internet. Okay, so just some basic mouse operations here. I want to move this thing around. Well, there's this thing called the title bar. The title bar is this region up here at the top. And if I click and hold at the title bar, I can pick this guy up and move him around. Okay, cool. There's also these minimize and maximize buttons. So if I maximize this guy, doink, then he covers up my entire screen. Cool. This will restore it back to the way it was, and then minimize makes it shoot, go down to the bottom. Now, you have to really have good eyes to realize which one of these guys is live. Now, I can barely see a little black box around there, so I'm going to close this guy. Now see, he's still there, but there's no little black box around him. So this is just a thing on my taskbar that allows me to click. Okay, but if it has a black bar around it, that means I have that running currently. So one is, it's there, it may not be running, and the other is, yes, it is running. Okay, and once again, navigating around your computer, scroll bars, there's 2 panes here. You can see a left side and a right side. Essentially, the left side is where folders are, for example. So if I go into my Documents directory, I get to see folders. So I click over here and I see more content over here. Well, and so I could just switch back and forth. I could click over here to open this folder. That'd be perfectly okay. Or I could click this little diamond over here, which basically does the same thing. Now this is the same as that. So if I click here, I get those contents. Or I could just go here and click the contents. I got them the same way. So I can navigate using the right hand, or I can navigate using the left hand. Doesn't matter. It all gets to the same place. Okay. So I think we covered essentially everything you need to know about how to navigate in Windows 7. And now if these concepts are kind of new to you, well then, pause this video right now, jump in your car, go out to the university and buy that big, thick, spiral-bound book we talked about that was optional, and take it home and read it, and then pick up where we left off in the videos. Okay? Cool. All right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to launch Microsoft Word as an example here, and we're going to do some stuff. Okay, so once again I go here. Now I happen to have it automatically here, but I'm going to ignore that. So I'm going to go to All, Microsoft Office, and Microsoft Word. Now while I'm in this menu, okay, I'm not double clicking, I'm just single clicking. While I'm in a menu, just single click. So if I click this guy just one time, and then bonk, up comes Microsoft Office. Okay? Cool. Now this is a new feature called the ribbon. And the ribbon has a bunch of tabs across the top. And this is how you get to different things. It's similar to the way the old used to be. When you click on a menu, it went down and consumed a lot of space vertically. And a lot of people thought that was a little disconcerting, so they've made it kind of go wide now. So insert page, boom, 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 boom. Okay, this is how you get there. This one, the one that's color coded. By the way, this file thing over here in the corner is color coded differently for different documents. The icon for Word is blue, and so this is blue over here in the corner. Why? I don't know. It's kind of cool. Let's say I don't particularly want this toolbar here. This ribbon takes up way too much space. Well, there's a tiny little up arrow here, way over here in the corner. So if I click on that little guy and doink, so if I had a big document and I thought that was kind of getting in the way, now it's still there. See, it's still there. It's just that when I move away, it just automatically hides. Okay, now I don't particularly like that. So what I do is I want to pin it. And pinning it just sounds like what it is. I mean, like you were to take this and pin this to a bulletin board. That's why it looks like a little push pin over here. So the push pin says, no, I want it to be there all the time. Okay, so we've minimized and maximized the toolbar, and we kind of navigated it around a wee bit. So let's just create us a document, and we're going to save it. And it doesn't really matter what it is here, since that's not really all that relevant. So I'm just going to do Mary had a little lamb. And now I want to save this thing. So I'm going to click on the file guy. Now these guys didn't consume any space, right? I mean, I could still see my document, when I go through these little tabs. But when I click on this one, boink, my document is now hidden behind, and now I can have opportunities to do things. And here's where you would do a save or a print and do all sorts of other things. So things that you can do in here. Well, you can add permission. You can do a save. What's the difference between save and save as? That's a good question. Okay. Print is obviously something that you would do an awful lot of. When you hit print, you're going to get another one of these things, and it's in three pieces. You have the left-hand side, which talks about all the types of printers, and then over here on this side is all the information, how it's going to appear on the page, like the old print preview. Okay, this is a good place to stop for the 15-minute mark. We'll pick the thing up again in just a few.